Hey, what's going on, everyone? So I want to do a video tonight on what kind of vehicle you can get brand new in today's market for under $50,000. Yes, to be 100% transparent, I do currently own a Charger Scat Pack, and yes, this video will kind of be looking at other vehicles you can get in comparison to the 392 Scat Pack, whether the Challenger or the Charger. So that's the first thing I want to point out. So it's important before we get into this list of vehicles that I do want to acknowledge that a lot of the vehicles, not every single performance car is built with the idea of just horsepower. I mean, right? So not everything on this list is going to be something about just straight line performance. A lot of cars on this list were built for circuit, or some actually have some records with circuit racing. Obviously, turning is important for a sports car, and yes, something like a Charger is sort of a big bruiser with a lot of power. But this is sort of a fun video. No one necessarily has to agree. I kind of wanted to see what else is out there and do a kind of a comparison. So without further ado, let's start this video, guys. So we're going to go in order by cheapest to most expensive. Every vehicle will have a starting price of under $50,000. So without further ado, let's talk about the very first vehicle. This is the Nissan 370Z. The fun fact is the only vehicle in this category or comparison that has a starting price of under $30,000. The 370Z is powered by a 3.7 liter VQ 37B engine that makes right around 332 horsepower. 0 to 60 can be around the very low 5-second range. The Z will hit the 1320 marker around a low 13-second run. For anyone that might not be familiar, 1320, I'm referring to the quarter mile. That is 1,320 feet. The horsepower per dollar for this particular vehicle is $90.63, one of the best values here in this whole comparison. So let's kind of talk about real quick about sales. When this vehicle first came out in 2009, we saw sales just over 13,000 per year for units. It was 13,117 units sold in 2009. Let's fast forward to 2019. Sales went skyrocketing down all the way to 2,384. So what's the reason for such a decline in sales? I think there's two reasons. Reason number one, the competition in this particular market has tremendously grown. I mean, think about 2009 compared to 2020 now. In 2009, I mean, I think the Camaro just came out. We didn't even have any Hellcats, no Scat Packs, no, I think the GTR just came out, which is super expensive. The competition now is just, there's so much out there. I think that is one of the major factors. The second biggest reason, obviously, is going to be the lack of change. The 370Z essentially is, I wouldn't say it is, but it does kind of just look like a basic facelift from the 350Z. And on paper, that kind of goes hand in hand, because I believe 350Z was making right around 300 horsepower before they stopped making that vehicle. But no worries for my loyal Z fans. There is a new and exciting 400Z to hit this very competitive market soon. Next up, at number 2, is the American pony car that sort of started it all. That's right, the Ford Mustang. The 2020 Mustang GT is powered by a 5-liter dual overhead cam V8 codenamed the Coyote, making right around 460 horsepower. This Coyote, 3rd-gen Coyote, powers the Mustang GT to 0 to 60 in a low 4-second range and a quarter mile at a low 12-second. Since this video is about bang for your buck, it is important to say that the Ford Mustang GT has the best horsepower per dollar ratio at $77.46. So why doesn't Mustang do so well? Well, let's be honest. Everyone at least has owned or knows someone that owns a Mustang. I mean, although I currently own a Charger 392, I actually still own my 2006 Mustang GT. The Ford Mustang is still the #1 selling two-door sports car in the United States, seeing an increase of almost 7% in sales of Q1 of 2020. I would say with numbers like that, the future for the Ford Mustang looks very bright. Next vehicle up is the new and very improved Civic Type R. The FK2 Generation Civic Type R is powered by the K20 C1 turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, making 306 horsepower. I apologize, that is a mouthful, but that is usually how Hondas work, right? The Civic Type R runs right around 5.5 seconds to 60, and the quarter mile comes in right around 13.5 seconds. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, not every car is really built for power, and this is that car. So let's talk about this for a second. Where is this car impressive? Well, I'll tell you exactly where, and that's on circuit track. So the Civic Type R just set a lap record of the fastest front wheel production production car at the Japanese Grand Prix, the Suzuki circuit. I apologize, I'm sure I butchered that name. It was actually did such an impressive lap time that it actually went around the track faster than, are you ready for this? A Ferrari F40. Yes, that is a supercar from the 80s, but nonetheless, that is a $1 million supercar that it actually goes faster around the track. And it's not just that track. This particular Honda Civic has a front-wheel drive record at many tracks, including the Nürburgring track and many other tracks, I believe one in France as well. While I'm not a huge fan of the Honda Civic, and I do blame a lot of that on Fast and Furious, the new generation Civic Type R belongs on this list, and to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't mind the opportunity to drive this vehicle. Moving on to the vehicle with the most horsepower and the most torque on this list, that is the Challenger and or Charger 392 Scat Pack, which, yes, once again, I personally own, which does make me a little biased, and that is absolutely okay. Once again, this video is for fun. Comment below. 0 to 60 comes in 4.5 seconds. Quarter mile comes just around 12.5 seconds. I have personally done a 12.4 seconds in my Charger Scat Pack. The Scat Pack is powered by a 6.4 liter Hemi engine, also known as a 392, making right around 485 horsepower. As far as sales are concerned, the Challenger, and I'm not even talking about the Charger, sales for Q1 for 2020 were just over 12,138, which is only second to the very popular Ford Mustang in that segment. While the Scat Pack is offered in many different trim levels, the wide body provides you with upgraded tires, which is a 305 section tire, which is pretty hilarious next to the stock 245s that my vehicle came with, as well as a standard 6-piston Brembo brakes. The wide body actually still comes in at $47,490, which is actually under our $50,000 threshold. While it's worth mentioning that the Charger and Challenger models are going out the bang in 2021 model year, with both offering the Hellcat Red Eye as an option with over 800 horsepower, I'm really excited to see where Dodge goes next with their muscle car. The next vehicle on our list is the Volkswagen Golf R. This is our second hot hatch vehicle on the list. The Golf R is powered by a E8 AAA FSA turbo inline 4-cylinder. The Golf R actually makes the least amount of horsepower in this comparison at 288 horsepower. But once again, not every car on this list is about horsepower, even straight line performance. So what about the Golf R makes it so special? Well, for one, it's standard all-wheel drive. It has an optional dual clutch transmission, which is one of the few vehicles on this list. I believe only the Golf R, and we'll be talking about a Mercedes coming up soon, have a dual clutch transmission. With that being said, unlike a lot of the bigger displacement vehicles on this list, the Golf R actually almost gets 30 miles per gallon, which is sort of unheard of for anything performance related. In such a competitive market, though, it does appear the Golf R leaves a lot to be desired at this price point. However, I've never driven nor owned a Golf R, so if you have, please comment below. Tell me if you like it, tell me what you like or don't like about it. The last American car in this comparison, of course, is the Chevy Camaro, which is also the most expensive American car here, starting at a price point of $42,000. However, please note that the LT1 Camaro comes with the same V8 as the Camaro SS and starts at a $34,995. The 6th gen Camaro is powered by the LT4 6.2 liter V8 engine that you can find in the C7 Corvette, making 455 horsepower. The Tremec 6-speed manual transmission, or the optional 10-speed auto transmission that both Ford and Chevy teamed up, can also be found in the Mustang GT and the Ford Raptor. A few minor changes have been made to the 2020 model year because the bow tie and the bumper of the 2020 model year brought a lot of controversy, as you can see here in this photo. The SS does 0 to 60 in a blistering low 4-second range, as well as a mid to low 12-second quarter-mile run. Only slower to the Mustang GT when equipped with a 10-speed automatic transmission. Although the Camaro sales are down over 40% from last year, Q1 sales are 7185 compared to 12,083 from 2019, the Camaro will be returning for the 2021 model year with very minor changes and updates. Will Chevy put an axe to the next generation Camaro? Only time will tell. With a starting price of $46,900, I'd like to introduce the Mercedes-Benz AMG CLA 35. The AMG is powered by a 2-liter inline turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 302 horsepower. As I mentioned previously in the video, this vehicle does come equipped with a dual clutch transmission. 0 to 60 comes in at a respectable 4.8 seconds. While I know I haven't touched much base on interiors in this video, I would like to kind of point out how nice the AMG interior is. Although I'm sure at this trim level showed here that it's not part of the base price of $46,900 as I mentioned earlier. Biggest downsides to this vehicle is after options you can find this entry-level AMG close to $70,000. That's easy 700 horsepower Hellcat range or even another German luxury vehicle territory. Moving on to the last car on our list, the Japanese legend, the Toyota Supra. Well, sort of Japanese, more on that later. The 2020 Super Turbo is powered by a BMW B58 turbocharged inline-6 engine making 335 horsepower. Please note though, for the 2021 model year, the 3-liter Supra is getting a bump to 382 horsepower and they're introducing a 2-liter turbocharged engine making 255 horsepower. Both engines options are mated to a ZF 8-speed transmission, which is a newer transmission in the market that's proven to be a stout transmission you can find in other vehicles such as BMW, Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, and even Mopar products such as my Scat Pack, which now has almost 125,000 miles. I've had the chance to see the new MK5 Supra in person, and it for sure looks good. Small coupe, and I do believe the reviews that it would be a fun vehicle drive. However, as an MK4 Supra owner, I do have one major issue with the new Supra, and I'm sure you already guessed it. Yes, it's basically the new BMW Z4. You can literally find BMW tags and logos all over the car. I don't believe this was a team effort between BMW and Toyota. I believe Toyota took advantage of the legendary name and slapped on their logo on what they would believe would be a modern day German Supra. And my biggest issue is I do feel as though Toyota, or Lexus more accurately, does have a vehicle they could easily transform into the new Supra, and that is the LC500. I don't want to get too sidetracked with this. I've already made a video on that particular topic, link in the description if you're interested. Back on topic though, the new MK5 Supra will hit 60 in around 3.7 seconds, and the quarter mile gets covered in a low 12-second quarter mile range, which is no question fast in this category. Instead of the new Supra being put against old rivals such as the new GTR or NSX, the new Supra is now compared to the Porsche Cayman or even the BMW M2. Both are not in this comparison simply because they're over the $50,000 budget, which is no doubt a compliment to the value of the new Toyota Supra. Well guys, that about wraps it up for my video. Don't forget, this video is just for fun. It's my 2 cents. Tell me what you think below. What car would you buy for under $50,000? And obviously, if you like this video, I'd be more than grateful for you to smash that like button so this video gets shared. And obviously, if you want to see more videos like this, or you want to keep updated with my high mileage Charger Scat Pack or my Super Turbo build, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. Till next time, peace.